Hello, I'm Hannah, and this is Hannah's Books. Since this is my first video of the year 2023, and today is Tuesday, I thought it might be perfect to answer the New Year book tag. Let's get straight to the questions. The first is, how many books are you planning to read in 2023? As many of you know, my spouse is dealing with a serious illness. A very wise friend told me that, given that this was likely to be a difficult year, I shouldn't promise myself, much less anyone else, that I would meet any particular goals. I hope that I can read widely, and I hope I can make videos at least somewhat regularly or frequently. But to be honest, while BookTube is a source of great joy for me, making and watching videos and getting to participate in conversations with so many people who are both brilliant and generous, BookTube just isn't my highest priority by a long shot. So my reading goal, instead of particular numbers of books, is just to allow books and reading to continue to bring me joy and perhaps peace over the course of the year. The second prompt is to name 5 books that I didn't get to this year but want to make a priority in 2023. Again, I'm reluctant to actually prioritize anything here, at least in a public and therefore more permanent way. Still, I've really thought about some books I want to read this year, and I'll mention just a few things. First, I was really excited about the talk at the end of 2022 where particular booktubers were considering particular authors they wanted to focus on, perhaps reading all their books in chronological order, for example, over the course of 2023. I'm pretty excited about the read-along of E.M. Forster, organized by Jen the Librarian. I can't wait to watch her videos and perhaps even join in for a few of the books, including January's read, Where Angels Fear to Tread. Still, I go around in circles questioning which author I might choose myself. At this point, I think I want to read the very small canon of works by Tilly Olson, along with a biography. Another book I want to read, one I've read before but want to consider in a deeper way, is William Faulkner's Absalom, Absalom, which I think will be the group read for the read-along Faulkner in August. I think I'll leave it at that for now. The third question is interesting. What genre do you want to read more of? I suppose there are 2 ways to read the question. One suggests that we should name a genre we've neglected in the past. This past December, I actually did that. Really for the first time, I read a handful of, quote, cozy books. And while this channel is not going to morph into a full-time cozy books channel by any means, I do have at least another book or 2 I want to read in the next year or 2 that are classic examples of the genre. Another way to read the question is to name a genre we literally want to read more of than we have in past years, even if it's our preferred genre. As I said earlier, I doubt I'll read more of any genre this year than I have in the past, but if I were to do it, I'd probably name classic fiction. In the past year, I read a huge number of memoirs, and while I'm sure I'll read a few more this year, I'm interested in going back to my main literary love, which is backlist fiction, be it relatively recent backlisted items that are at least flirting with becoming 21st century classics, or modern classics from the 20th century, or Victorian, or whatever, including ancient classics. Prompt 4 is to name 3 non-book related goals for 2023. Number 1. Although I've been a serious knitter for decades, I often restrict myself to items that don't require fit. I love knitting elaborate lace shawls, although I don't love wearing elaborate lace shawls. But even knitting a straightforward plain sweater makes me really nervous. I suppose there are 2 big reasons for this. My gauge is always weird, never fitting the balance between stitch height and width that designers are looking for. The second is that my body is unconventionally shaped. I chose not to have breast reconstruction after mastectomy, the treatment for breast cancer, and my chest is not only flat, but a bit concave and lumpy. Sometimes clothes look fine on me, and sometimes particular cuts seem to emphasize the lumpiness. The idea of working on a knitting project for a month or more, only to have it make me feel more uncomfortable about my body, is not particularly appealing. But this year, I want to make myself a sweater, a cardigan made with fairly thick wool. If all goes well, I'll update you on its progress. Another non-book related goal. I need to get more exercise, walks outdoors, and some stretching, especially. And the third goal is to take more photographs of my family. Question 5. What's a book you've had forever that you still need to read? Years ago, I bought a full paperback set of Trollope's Barsetshire series. So far, I've only read the first book in the series, The Warden, and I really loved it, far more than people told me I would. Is this the year to read the rest? Possibly. We'll see. Okay, on to the last prompt, to name one word describing 2023. I think I'm going to shift the question just a bit. Going around on Instagram a few weeks ago, there was a suggestion that instead of resolutions, we might choose a word we wanted to focus on for the year. I saw people choosing all sorts of words: intention, simplicity, creativity, renewal, faith, transformation, etc. To be honest, I kind of rolled my eyes at those early posts, but the idea didn't let go of me, and I kept thinking that the word I would choose if I were to choose a word for 2023 is grace. Let me first make it clear that I have absolutely, horrendously, outlandishly failed at embodying this word over the last few weeks. Grace can mean a lot of things. It's often used in a religious context, but I'm a completely secular person, and the meaning that resonates with me is the use of grace to mean an effort to act with deep kindness and even unearned clemency, that is, giving the gift of mercy. I want to be a giver of that kind of grace, and I also want to become more aware of when people are offering me that kind of grace. Another meaning of grace that I'm thinking about right now is the conferring of honor on someone or something. For example, a queen could grace someone with a particular award. I just want to be better at always remembering that human beings are intrinsically graced with a kind of dignity that doesn't change, even when we face major challenges of illness or age. And I want to recognize others' dignity in my own heart, but also externally, with grace. That is, with both thoughtfulness and ease. I have a whole lot of work to do to move closer to acting with grace, but I think it's a worthy goal. I think the idea of having a word or value to focus on for the year might allow me to make mistakes without feeling like I have failed at whatever resolution I've made. If you make a resolution to go for a run every day or quit eating chocolate or whatever, and then even one day comes when you can't check off that box, I always find it too easy to just drop the whole thing. Making a commitment to try, to practice something, to learn to do something better, has a little more space for failures. And I know I need that grace with my failures. All right, since I'm a little late for a tag talking about the new year, I'm not going to tag anyone today. But if you haven't yet hit the ground running and want to talk about what you're planning, please consider yourself tagged. And let me know if you film a version. I'd love to see it. Thanks for joining me today. See you soon here on Hannah's Books.